Welcome, tenants. Yes, I am your spiritual hostess with the mostest, Nani B. McKinney. And so, whether you follow me on social media and my personal page at Nani B. McKinney, or if you follow at Tenants of the Treehouse, I want to welcome you and thank you for stopping by. Okay? So, if you are following either of those, you kind of know that I've been on a detox, right? Get that together real quick. I've been doing somewhat of a mini sabbatical from social media, and not necessarily for anything negative, right? Like, I know how people can be like, oh, social media is just draining me, and it's mainly because they have comparisonitis. Like, they're constantly comparing their lives to other people's, right? And so I suffer from something that is just as common, which is procrastination, right? So when I'm on social media and I'm just like, I'm enjoying it, I'm getting into the groove. I have all these pages because I have several businesses, right? So I'm on there, I'm finding content that I know I could recreate and put my own little spin on it. But it's like I'm sending all this stuff to my DM. You gotta recreate this. You gotta put your own little spin on this. You gotta create your own branded content, and then I'm never get into it because I just keep on watching more and more TikToks, and I keep consuming more and more content. So I love it. I absolutely love it, but I overconsume. So if you also overconsume, then you kind of understand where I'm coming from with needing this somewhat of a detox. So while I've been on this detox, what I was supposed to be doing was batching content. But of course, I am still procrastinating. That is one thing that I am working on, or should I say, working off. Okay, be with your sister. Be with your sister, okay? Send me love. Send me guidance. Send me patience. Send me sprinkles. Send me sparkles. Send me light. Yes, okay? So, I'm supposed to be batching content and doing work, and I have been. But where I've been doing like a fourth, I need to at least get up to half. Okay? And we all can do better, but that's what this life is about. It's about the journey of staying committed to self development and self improvement, and also manifesting and aligning with your purpose. Right? So, honey child, without further ado, let's talk about shadow work. And in this particular article, shadow boxing. So, if you read the first article, which you should, okay, then you know that shadow work is not, ooh, the boogeyman. Neither is voodoo. Hoodoo, maybe, right? But a lot of our African spirituality has been turned around and basically pictured as evil. And we've been programmed to believe that it is such. But that's not the case, okay? I don't know how you Christians can be saying that what we're doing is evil when you out here talking about you drinking Christ's blood and eating his body. Like, that is so cannibalistic. Like, at least when they be cutting animals up in voodoo, if you're an animal, like, y'all gonna go ahead and eat a person every fourth Sunday? Like, give us about Jesus gonna come back. Not for that. Y'all gonna eat him again? You know? So, look, I mean, I crack a couple of jokes, but everyone is welcome here. I'm not gonna clown on nobody for real, because when I first started out, I was kind of clowning people like, y'all gotta come from under that white man religion. But now I'm more so like, you know what? The same way that Jesus could be a white man to them is the same way that Jesus could be a black man to this group. Christ, or should I say God, Spirit, the universe, Allah, whatever it is that you would like to call source energy, it shows up in different ways in our lives, right? So God can be whoever appears or appeals to you. Both appears and appeals to you. Okay? So that's the same way in African spirituality that when we're saying meditate to connect with your Orisha. Will it be Yemiya? Will it be Oshun? Will it be Ogun, Oya, Shango, Batala? Who do you connect with? We want you to go inside, get in tune. Hence the words intuition and intuitive, right? So some people will connect and resonate more with Oya, which is my Orisha, goddess of thunder and lightning, storm, okay? So, or you may resonate more with Beyonce's Oshun, or you may resonate more by the sea with Yemiya. And it's not just like, don't be like, oh, I like swimming, that's me, Yemiya, because it may not be, right? So you have to do a whole lot more work to figure that out. So in me learning and growing and understanding that, that's when it stood out to me that, you know what? As long as they get the message, as long as they get the message, does it really matter what their God or their image of source energy is? It's like, okay, so the Bible is telling you do not fear. The Bible tells you to have faith. Like, put it in God's hand and let it be. That's the same thing that we doing in manifesting. Going to source energy, laying it out there, let them know what we need. The same way that you go to church and you're going to put however so much money, 10% of your income or what you made that week into the basket would be the same way that someone who practices voodoo or different types of spirituality, African spirituality, is not the only one. There is Santeria. You know, there are different other names. It's a spin-off. It's cultural. It's regional. Different things of that nature. You understand what I'm saying? So, in the same way that you will offer up your money, I may go to Ilegua, the protector of crossroads, and give Ilegua some gin or some tobacco, or I may give Oshun some wine or something of that nature. You see where I'm going with this? You don't necessarily have to go in and get chickens and start slicing heads and go and get no cows and all that stuff, and you need no rabbit foot and all that. You understand what I'm saying? So all of this is being done. It's just being done in different ways. Like, even with that Indian hair that y'all like to wear. Where do you think that is coming from? There is a system of organized religion, and this is where it gets dangerous, which supplies you with your Indi Remy. Okay, well, with your Brazilian, your natural Indian. It's specifically Indian. So listen to this. When I went to Hyderabad, India, in 2017, I visited the Birla Temple. Namaste. I had an amazing time. I heard from God clearly, like, oh, this is no joke, right? Like, God was sitting right here chatting, like, I don't want to tell you the answer, you know the answer, right? Okay, but while I was there, I learned that this is why we get their hair. In the Indian or Hindu culture, these girls are taught to grow their hair out long, right? So that when they come of age to pick their deity or pick their Orisha, they have an offering of that long hair. So listen to this. Think about it. Think about it. So my whole life I've been told at a certain age we're going to cut your long locks and we're going to go and take that ponytail down to the temple, pick your Orisha, and give them that offering. But while at the temple, they don't know. They throw that hair into the bin, and then they go for a spin, and then they come out with a welt, and then they go on the shelf. And then here we go. You know, this is my real hair. This is my real hair. But you see where I'm going with this. So that's where religion and, organized religion and having people controlling things behind the scenes can get a little bit shifty. So it can be found anywhere. Excuse me, that almost had a little slippage. It can be found absolutely anywhere in any religion. So never think that, your hands clean or you perfect or whatever. Every last one of these followings have had bloodshed in order to maintain their sovereignty or maintain their existence. That's what it has been, and that's what it is, right? So, without further ado, my shadow boxing has been very difficult for me because there's a few things that I have found out. Number one, I come from a long bloodline of trauma. I come from a very, very, very long bloodline of trauma, and unfortunately, it's kind of like been the same exact replays. It's almost like our spirits are being reincarnated on the same bloodline for somebody to finally get it right and it's just been blowing over everybody else's head. So I guess that means it's left up to me to make something happen. Hence, me teaching you guys what you need to know about spirituality to get to the next level, and ultimately being able to raise my family up to the next level. That's what it's about. Each one teach one. And guess what? Not everybody is going to be there for you. Not everybody's going to be supportive of even what you're doing. And that's why it's going to be hard, because it's always that one that comes to break those curses. And honey, when I tell you, get the chancleta, pull out the sword. I don't know if you got to come from the hip with it and dip with it. You understand what I'm saying? But it's a lot of work. And I just had to realize that hurt people hurt people. Hurt people, and that's why there's been so much trauma. That's why there's been a cycle of abuse. The same way that our grandfather used to beat on us, he was beat on. He was traumatized. He was talked to in a nasty way, and never got past it. And then he did that same thing to his kids, and that caused my mama to spiral out of control, to go into doing drugs. Also because she was molested, starting at 9 years old. I can't remember specifically how long it went on for, but it was by her uncle, my grandfather's brother. So, you know, with black people, it's been a lot of family shame. It's been a lot of bullshit. It's been a lot of stuff they don't want to put on the table. So, I mean, you can't heal what you never reveal. And so, subsequently, when you're hiding these things or you're not speaking of them, then you're inviting them to stay. Or you are more or less ushering them into the next generation. And I definitely saw this when I was a kid, you know, and I realize now why I always receive so much flack for being judgmental. And I was always like, I am not a judgmental person. Like, I can't judge you. A judge and a jury, they decide on the fate of your life. I can't do anything but give you my humble opinion, which is not always so humble. A lot of times it's harsh. You know, and so I understand why people don't like me, but you gotta understand, I've had a purpose in this life. From a young age, I've always had a message, right? And I know that because how are you a judgmental child? How are you a judgmental child? I was not a judgmental child. I was a child who already had an elevated mindset, who already had an old soul and a very mature spirit. And I saw some shit that just really made me feel like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Hey. And I was like, oh no, not me. Baby, it might have ran in my family till it ran into me. The buck stopped here. You just ran out. Get out. You know, all the way to the point where I've had to take the stand as a matriarch. Like, I'm building this empire. Either you in or you out, because with these new age kids that we're trying to build, we're building strong, healthy adults. We're not trying to fix broken men and women, you know. We're doing what we got to do while they kids. Because a lot of us were some broken ass kids. And so we still struggling as adults. And see, a lot of times you don't realize, you thinking, oh, you can't get to the next level on some shit to do in the physical, something to do with your job, something to do with your relationship over here. But guess what? It's internal. It's something spiritual. It's something that you need to let go of. It's some shadow work. It's some shadow shit that's holding you back, that's holding you up. And you have no clue, right? So, in doing this work, I shed a lot. I shed a lot of tears. I shed a lot of tears. I had a lot of cheers. Some people disappeared. Okay? But I'm still here. And my family was the first step. Like, when you're acknowledging this, your shadow self, you have to realize that a lot of it stems from childhood trauma. It's the things that you were told to neglect about yourself, the things that you was told to suppress or to reject about yourself. You know, it rears its ugly head. And just like the first article said, have you ever been friends with someone who is always a sweet person or a sweet colleague? You work with them, always so hilarious, fun, a good time, life of the party. But the smallest thing, a light goes off. The switch flips, and they're a completely different person. They're a madman. They're a mad woman. And you're just like, who is this? That's because the shadow person is there. It's there. Like, there's almost like two people living there in that body. And I have to admit I was one of those people. Definitely, like, always wondering how am I like one of the funniest, coolest people in the life of the party and so kind and so nurturing and caring, but could turn into John Wick, you know, could turn into the Grim Reaper, anyone of that nature so quick, right? So, in keeping in line with what I learned from my family, I had to learn that I suffer greatly from one of the seven deadly sins called wrath. So with wrath, that's past anger, right? So with wrath, that's like me getting so angry to the point of I want to punish someone for this. I either want to punish the person for what they did. I want to punish the person for how they made me feel. I want to punish a person because I feel as though whether it was directed towards me, someone else, indirectly, I stumbled upon this. I cast judgment and decide that you need to be punished for this. And I realized that comes from years and years and years of pain and enduring abuse and feeling like no one ever got punished for this. No one ever was held accountable for these things. No one ever went to jail for a lot of these crimes that they committed against children. And to be honest with you, I think I could live with that all and not, feeling the need to punish anyone had I felt that they had grown from the ordeal. But that has rarely been the motherfucking case. You understand? So since you have not learned, like, I don't know. I guess I just be wishing for their karma, wishing something to happen to them. But I battle so bad with wrath, and I just had to figure out why. Like, I'm addressing my shadow self. Like, why do I battle with this immense anger to the point of I came to the revelation that I didn't really know how to show emotion. I was either happy or enraged. There was no sad. You never let them see you sweat. You can't be nervous. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them see you down so you can't show no tears. You can't, even if you're frustrated, you gotta keep a straight face. That's how it is. That's how they do us. I know they do it a lot to men, but I know heavily in our community, people of color. We're taught these things all the way to the point where I didn't even know I had anxiety until I started smoking marijuana and seeing a different side of myself. Realized, like, damn, bitch, you ain't never been this cool. You was kind of upside, high strung, to where now I know healthy ways to cope with it. What? I mean, I'm just keeping it real, right? I was like, you are much cooler now, okay? But I had never known that I had battled with anxiety, right? I had never been diagnosed. I had never been led to believe that anything could be wrong. I mean, I was a scholar in school. I've always been an overachiever. I felt like I would go through certain stresses associated with those things, but I never knew it was anxiety. I would just feel like this is a moment of weakness. This is a weak emotion that you're going through, and you are much stronger than that. So suck it up. You got 5 minutes of all that foolery, then it's time to get back to work. So we do that a lot to ourselves, not just as women, not just as people of color. I think everyone, right? And not to say that we take on more than we need to. That's true as well. But we take on more than we have learned to balance. That's what I was saying. Because you can handle anything life throws at you. What you mean? That's how God gets the glory. That's how God gets the glory. You can handle anything that is thrown your way, right? But sometimes we're not prepared for all of that because we don't really know how to handle it all at once with everything we already dealing with. We don't really know how to balance all that together, and then you get it all, and then now your life kind of like things of that nature. So, boom. I had to realize I was battling with that as well. But with me and facing wrath, as I said before, wrath is one of the 7 deadly sins. That's something Catholic. And I grew up Catholic, and that was the first time I started burning candles. I just switched over to African spirituality because I am a high priestess, and I am a voodoo priestess. I am a shaman, And so, nothing scary about that. I don't do anything in regards to evil. Oh, but if you sending something my way, bitch, I will pop back. Bitch, I will pop back. I don't shit. You better ask about me. You can ask about me. They know all about me in the spiritual world, baby. Okay? Peace be still, and peace is made of steel. Okay, baby? Be rolling through it. What you think I won't come to 5D? And brrrr, child, please. Y'all better ask God, the Holy Ghost, whoever you believe in, baby, because I will get with you. Okay, so the 7 deadly sins are lust. That's unrestrained sexual craving. You're nasty. Unrestrained sexual craving. Gluttony, to overindulge, especially by overeating. Pride, inflated sense of one's accomplishments. Okay? Sloth, laziness, lack of effort. Wrath, uncontrolled feelings of hatred and anger. Greed, the excessive desire for material things. Envy, jealousy towards another's happiness. Because sometimes I ain't always jealous about what you got, honey, okay? Because I don't even really be talking about what I got, but people be hating on me because I can just sit in my yard and do this when I feel like it, okay? Tell you something, one of my homeboys told me, he has all the great, he gonna come up again in this story, but he grew up a little less fortunate than his cousin. So this particular Christmas, they around the same age. The cousin got the game and everything that he wanted, and my friend, he just got like some old $5, $20 thing, not the $300 item, but the $20 item. But he was oh so happy because it was something that he'd been wanting for a while. It was sentimental to him. Who gave it to him was important and everything. So his cousin with the $300 thing was so pissed off and upset because he saw how happy his cousin was with his little $20 little trinket. But you're not understanding how that, you don't know what he went through to get there. Like, you could be a person, that could be something that his dad gave him that somebody finally got a hold of and brought back to him. Your dad's still alive, but you hating because you just see him so happy. You never know what a person could be going through, and you hating because you seeing them living good. A lot of people that want to be in my place, baby, they wouldn't even made it a quarter mile in my shoes, baby. You couldn't even went to the corner store in my shoes, boo-boo. Because at the corner store, them hoes was going to want to take them off your feet. And if you couldn't even get up out of that, you sure could never be me. Okay, spiritual gangster. Okay, warrior, stand up. All right. So, I had to realize that I suffer from wrath because of the seven deadly sins. So, the rest of the 6, when I'm faced with any of the rest of the 6 of those deadly sins, I bring out the wrath. And y'all, it's really bad because I really be thinking I could bring down the wrath of God. There's no way I could ever bring down the wrath of God. Like, girl, your arms don't reach that far. Your arms ain't long enough to box with God or to replicate it, okay? So, hear me out. Bada bing, bada boom. Lust. When I'm encountering people who all you got on your mind is lust, you can't even be in a real relationship because you're so worried about how the next piece of pocket gonna feel, or how the next salami gonna feel, how it's gonna fit. Like, a person with that much lust or that much sexual craving without logic or sense or control behind it, they'll sleep with anything. Like, you gonna sleep with man, woman, child. You might even try to get up on an animal because you craving that much. You craving that much in your genitals. That spirit of perversion is heavy. That spirit of perversion is a hard spirit to fight. That's why some of the people when we say they got the spirit of perversion, I go far way over here. I say a few things. I speak my piece. I see that spirit in the eyes, and I say okay, because you got to come out of that in your own time. Only the person who is allowing that parasite on them can come from under it, okay? But when I see you putting pussy or penis before your priorities, that's when my head start getting fucked up. Like, now I'm becoming angry, right? And so usually if you got the lust and you're not handling your business because you worry about all that, it's probably some other shit wrong with you. You probably being lazy. You probably lacking effort. That's sloth because your mind and shit is elsewhere. So now it's more and more. You see, it's more starting to be added to that. But let's put lust to the side. You got gluttony. People who overindulge in eating. Like you overindulge in eating, but then you always wondering where your money at. You done ate the money. But you overindulge in eating, but you wasteful. But you overindulge in eating, but you won't even make a sack lunch for a homeless person that live outside your building. Like, some of y'all, whether you fat, skinny, whatever, you fucking glutton, right? And so when you out there doing that, as many meals as you eat a day, you need to buy your meal and give it away. Or put $5 towards the next person's meal. Because this is just so ridiculous. When God gives you an abundance, that abundance is not for you to go and swallow up for yourself. Share the wealth, share the food. That ain't hard. Pride. Inflated sense of one's accomplishments. And I've battled with pride before. But pride has never been like about, oh, I'm a big dog. Oh, I'm a big dog because I have all these accomplishments. My pride kind of has worked kind of like when I'm in a bind or something, I don't want to ask nobody for nothing. Or, you know, when I've dealt with men in relationships in the past and shit, not really want to say what it is that I wanted, knowing that the problems that we was going through or that, you know, I didn't really feel like I could get it from them. Pride. And I know that's going to hit home for a lot of people, but it's like, sometimes you just got to put your motherfucking pride aside because at the end of the day, pride always comes before the fall, almost certainly. Ask God to release that pride, right? So, we're going to start, we already did lust, gluttony, and pride. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just give you a little tip. With lust, the unstrained sexual craving, be pure, guard your heart, give yourself a project, exercise when you're bored, right? With gluttony, be moderate, exercise regularly, avoid excess in eating and drinking, especially if it's weed and alcohol, right? With pride, be humble. You need God and others. No man is an island. God put us all here to be of service to one another for the greater good, for God's enlightenment, right? Pray and serve. So then we down to sloth. Sloth is laziness and lack of effort. And a lot of people, y'all live in a world of wishes. Something that I've never been capable of doing. I've always had to live in reality. And that's why this 5D or 3D. I've always had to live in what's really happening versus people who just get to live in fucking la la land. Like, you have to get up. You can't just wish it to be. You can't just want it to be. You can't just will it to be. You have to actually work on it if you want all that. Right? So I can't stand when I see a lazy person but have the nerve to want to be fucking jealous and mad. Oh, I'll go off on you quick. I'll snap on you quick. Okay? So with those people who suffer from laziness and procrastination, be diligent. Have a schedule. Don't let your life revolve around resting. You can sleep when you're dead. You need to get the adequate amount of sleep, and it's not like 8 hours every night anyway. If you could get that good, but I mean, at least 6. Some people could do well on 4. You know what you need, okay? So greed and pride are so similar to me for real, like, but they're like, it's like they could be within the same person or they could be two opposite people working against each other. But greed is the excessive desire for material things. So be generous, donate. Donate something you like but don't need anymore. Donate it to the poor. Do some shit like that. But with greed, is like I told you, people like to hoard a lot of things. That's why that show is so popular about the hoarders. Like, everybody want to keep up with the Joneses. Everybody want to be like, oh, I got this, I'm blessed. But God blessed you to be a blessing. And when you don't do right with your blessings, that's why you see so many people have their blessings taken away. Okay? Envy, jealousy, and envy goes deep as the grave because people will kill you behind being jealous and want your life and don't really even much know. You could be living a whole facade on Instagram and they'll kill you to go and live your life, don't even know what your life is. Boom. So, people who suffer from envy, you need to stop that. Get that out your heart. Get that hate out your heart. Be thankful. Thank God every day for what you have and don't have. Because, look, honey, whatever you don't have right now, you're not prepared for it. So you just need to get prepared and get in line, align with that vibrational energy, right? So that you can get what you want. But I had to realize that My wrath comes out when I'm faced with people who are displaying the seven deadly sins and then turn around and not take accountability. And that again stems from my childhood because, like I said, child abuse, money mismanagement, things of that nature. Us having to grow up in poverty when you think at some point, like if your family was on government assistance all this time, they would have assisted, themselves to get up out of a rut. And it's like, no, like they're just going to continue to pass that down. Like, that has to be tiresome. But it's tiresome and it's going to keep happening as long as no one makes anyone take accountability. So, I mean, not saying you got to keep on, like, going fight with the elders every couple of days about the shit. No. But you bring it up. Whether they take accountability or not, it may take a while. But you always hold them accountable. Period. Don't have to be nasty about it. Because at the end of the day, we're not worried about what nobody's saying they're going to do and what they could do. We worry about what you have done, your track record. Right? So, I mean, I've been talking, but I'm dropping jewels, right? Even with being a business owner, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not just a sister and someone's daughter, someone's granddaughter, someone's cousin who's fighting for them and then fighting for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm also a mentor to a bunch of children, right? I'm also a wife and a businesswoman. I'm someone's wife. I have to take care of my household. I have to cook. I have to clean. I have to make sure that I'm being there for him, being his peace, being there for him mentally, being a lawyer, being an accountant, being a chef, being a counselor, being a motherfucking prostitute, a freak, whatever you want to call it, right? So then you have a trucking company. You have a spiritual store, Tenants of the Treehouse, right? A media company with television, film, and book publishing, right? Also, you do know our partners too, Bohemian and the Hippie. We are bringing that CBD to Tenants of the Treehouse real soon. So, I live a fabulous life. I live a wonderful life. I would not trade it for anything. But I want people to understand that getting to the next level is about being committed to development and overall self-improvement. Constantly. It's consistent. And when I'm not being met with what I'm putting out, or when you're trying to come into my space and crowd it with that bullshit, and my light's supposed to be expelling all that bullshit, that brings up the dark side of me. That brings out the shadow. And so now I'm having to learn to deal with it because honestly, I've been trying to fight this side of me for a very long time. If I'm 32 years old, then I've been working on this since I was at least 16 years old. People have been trying to tell me that I need to work on my attitude, I need to work on this, I need to work on that, and I get it. I get where they're coming from. There's no need to be abrupt. There's no reason to be harsh. That's to be honest with you. I just had to finally come to a point where I was accepting of myself. And I think that's when the shadow work started triggering, when I start saying to myself, well, people have been telling you since you was a small child that you need to work on your attitude. You've been trying since you were 16 to adjust certain things about your personality, who you are, how you present to people, how you come off to people, how you affect others and their emotions when they encounter you. Right? Some bullshit that I have no fucking control over. Right? So that's where the shadow started to develop. Because now I'm neglecting and I'm suppressing that side of myself. I'm suppressing the big boss dog. I'm trying to suppress some of the opinions or the critiques. I'm trying to suppress, something that basically my light. Because my light and my energy and my aura is what's causing me to deflect and not want that bullshit around me. So once I started to suppress those things, that shadow began to really grow and kind of like become a werewolf. And if you read the first article and you saw that photo with the man standing there, and on one side you saw a shadow of a werewolf, and on the other side you saw a shadow of his inner child. And I feel like that's me. Like, I love my inner child, I nurture my inner child, but my inner child is in there standing alongside of a motherfucking monster, a beast. You understand what I'm saying? Something unimaginable to most people, right? It's almost a myth. So I just had to accept who I am and how I come off to people, and I just had to really embrace that. For one, I had to acknowledge where a lot of this comes from, because with the friend that I told you guys about earlier, he said to me, and I said, I just really don't know. I did a reading, and when they described my shadow self, it was everything about me, like the person who I am every day. And he was like, yeah, but this should be easy for you because you've come so far and you've grown so much. Your shadow side is that loud, aggressive person. It can be scary at times, fun, but trigger like a hair clip, right? That's what grew when I needed the protection when I was a child. That was what grew when I needed the comfort as a child. That was what grew to fill the void of abandonment when I was a child. The shadow. And it's like, I'm safe now. I can relax a bit. And so that's been a lot of what my shadow work has been like. I mean, pop style. It's been a journey, but it has been a journey to remember, okay? All I want to do is pop style. Turn my birthday into a lifestyle. And you can do that. You do that by honoring your purpose, honoring yourself, who you are. Do that shadow work because, like I said, we cannot heal what we never reveal. Just how hurt people, healed people, heal people. And that is our job as this generation who is committed to elevation, who's committed to breaking generational curses. It's just that simple. So a lot of times it's scary, and to be honest with you, I was afraid to go that deep because I was like, just like I said in the article, I'm 5 generations deep in this shit. And even my nieces have powers. Their powers are coming in. Like, it's a special thing to me. But I've also seen in a few generations before me, people sell their soul to this shit. But I've seen people not only sell their soul with black magic or dark magic, should I say, or doing something negative in the spiritual realm, but I've also seen people sell their soul for money. So, I mean, damn, I've seen people sell their soul for sex or abuse somebody that's not for them. Like, so it's not just in all of this, but those were some of the fears associated with me going to the next level. That's just a little bit of what I've been going through. Y'all like my outfit? I want to bring some more clothes from Two Bohemians and the Hippie all the way to my beloved Tenants of the Treehouse, right? Okay. But I just wanted to come and chat with you guys. This is what I have been learning with my shadow work. This is what I have been, needing the rest for, basically, for my little sabbatical, because I can do all my work and my shadow work and be entertaining all of these many different energies pulling me this way, that way, all of those different ways. But I am back, coming up this week with 7 days of mindfulness. A few of you have already signed up, but I'm going to make sure that I continue to post it all the way up until Sunday morning. So the stragglers, come on in and get your 7 days of mindfulness ebook and get ready for the week. Okay? So I'm going to be doing some giveaways, and I'll be making sure that I do an article per day for each step that we are on. All right? So continue to work on your shadow self. Continue to live in love and light. Continue with elevating. And sometimes elevation requires separation. Okay? But most of all, remember that miracles are normal. Thank you for coming to the Tenants of the Treehouse. I am your spiritual hostess with the mostest, Nani McKinney. You guys have a blessed day.